"Ma'am, your eggs!" he shouted, lunging forward just in time to stop the carton from exploding on the concrete. She froze, heels slipping, bags tearing, and before she could protest, he was already on one knee gathering her groceries like it was second nature. She looked like she'd stepped off a billboard, hips that made heads turn, curves carved with intention, and eyes hidden behind oversized designer sunglasses. But there was nothing glamorous about her panic as soup cans clattered across the parking lot. "I'm fine," she snapped, her tone sharp and guarded, but the way her hands trembled said otherwise. "I didn't ask," he muttered, tossing the last can back into the bag with quiet dignity. His hoodie was faded, his jeans fraying at the knees, and the little girl clinging to his side held a doll missing half its hair. They were clearly surviving, not living, but he still smiled, tired, warm, unbothered by her attitude. That moment should have ended there, two strangers, one awkward collision, but fate had other plans. 2 days later, they crossed paths again. Same parking lot, different chaos. She was at the pharmacy counter, visibly stressed, punching numbers into her phone. He was behind her in line, holding cold medicine and balancing his sleepy daughter on one hip. She glanced back and rolled her eyes. "You again?" He grinned. "Guess I'm stalking you now. Don't worry, I left my cape at home today." For the first time, she cracked a smile. The universe kept nudging them together. They ran into each other weekly, outside daycare, at the grocery store, even once at the laundromat. Each time, their conversations grew longer, their sarcasm softer, their walls thinner. She learned he was Jake, a single father working 2 jobs since his wife died. He learned her name was Ava, or so she claimed. She never spoke of family, never answered personal questions, always deflected with a joke or a compliment. But then came the night it rained. He was walking Lily home, jacket wrapped around her tiny frame, both soaked to the bone. She pulled over without thinking. "Get in," she ordered, unlocking the passenger door. Jake hesitated, pride and instinct wrestling in his chest, but Lily shivered and whimpered, and that was the end of that. The silence in the car was thick until Lily coughed and Ava reached back, brushing her hair tenderly. That simple gesture shattered the tension. Coffee followed, then long talks, then moments that felt like family, burnt dinners, bedtime stories, grocery runs where no eggs hit the pavement. She found herself laughing in ways she hadn't in years. He never looked at her like a trophy, only like a woman, a real one. But she had a secret. Her name wasn't Ava. She was Miranda Cole. The Miranda Cole, one of the most desired actresses in Hollywood, once the face of every magazine and the star of every scandal. 2 years ago, a public betrayal and a mental breakdown had driven her underground. She disappeared, changed her look, and had been hiding ever since. Jake didn't recognize her, and she was terrified of the moment he would. That moment came one night after tucking Lily into bed. Miranda stood in Jake's kitchen, ready to tell him the truth. But before she could, headlights flooded the windows, then cameras, paparazzi screaming. The world had found her. In seconds, their quiet world imploded. Jake stared at her like she'd grown a second face. "Who are you?" he asked, voice brittle. She tried to explain that she never meant to lie, that with him she had felt real again, but it didn't matter. His life had become a circus, his daughter's face plastered on gossip blogs, and the man who trusted everyone with nothing had been betrayed by the one person he let in. He walked away. Months passed in silence. Miranda retreated once again, but this time not to hide, to write, to speak, to reclaim the truth. Her memoir, Becoming Real, hit shelves like wildfire, a raw, vulnerable confession of fame, trauma, and the quiet man who showed her what it meant to be loved without performance. Jake read every page. His hands trembled. He cried for the woman behind the mask. Then one spring afternoon, he stepped into their favorite coffee shop. And there she was. No makeup, no spotlight, just Miranda smiling behind the counter with an apron on, serving lattes like a regular human. She looked up, nervous. "Thought I'd try real life again," she whispered. Lily ran to her like she never left. Jake followed, no words needed. That night they didn't talk about fame or cameras, just groceries and bedtime stories and second chances. Because sometimes the most unforgettable love stories start with broken eggs and spilled secrets and end with the courage to be real.